Welcome to the deep dive. So if you've ever been out to the northeastern New Territories in Hong Kong, places like Tai Mei Tuk, Sam Mun Tsai,
Mhm.
you know the feel.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful, great cycling spot.
Exactly. And it's just dominated by this huge, calm body of water, the Plover Cove Reservoir, well,
Yeah.
you, right?
Mm.
But that peaceful surface, it actually hides, well, one of Hong Kong's really dramatic, kind of epic historical stories.
It's a crucial story, too, because it really starts with a crisis, an existential one for Hong Kong back then. To
Hmm.
get the Plover Cove, you have to picture Hong Kong in the early 1960s.
Right.
You had this huge post-war population boom and then just relentless drought. The city was literally running out of fresh water.
And we're not talking just a bit inconvenient, are we? The sources really paint a picture of desperation from the government. Like at first, water restrictions were down to just 3 hours a day.
Just 3 hours daily initially, but it got much, much worse. It escalated to the most severe water rationing Hong Kong has ever
How
experienced.
bad did it get?
At the absolute worst point, residents got water for only 4 hours. Every 4 days.
Wait, 4 hours total, over 4 days.
Exactly. 4 hours of running water, then nothing for the next 4 days. It was closer to wartime rationing than anything you'd expect in a modern city. You just can't overstate the fear and the pressure that drove the search for a big, permanent, locally controlled water source.
Okay, that definitely explains why they'd greenlight something as massive as the Plover Cove Reservoir
Yeah.
project. The cost was huge too, right? 5.5 billion Hong Kong dollars.
A colossal sum back then, and it was for what was truly an engineering marvel at the time. And here's where it gets really fascinating, technically speaking. They weren't building a reservoir on land. They decided to build it in the sea.
In the sea. How does that even work?
Well, it was a world first, this specific approach. Basically, innovation driven by pure necessity. They had to build dams to seal off an entire coastal inlet, a huge chunk of the sea, about 2.8 square kilometers.
Yeah.
Then they had to pump all the seawater out of that enclosed area.
Pump out the sea. Wow.
Every last drop. And only then could they start filling that massive basin with fresh water. It was just this staggering logistical and environmental challenge. Took nearly 7 years to finish and completely reshaped the geography out there.
So this deep dive, it's really about looking at the cost of that necessity, of that marvel, because building it meant, well, upheaval and destruction for entire communities.
Exactly.
Our mission today is to kind of look beneath that beautiful blue water, understand these incredible stories of sacrifice, and maybe help you see these scenic spots as something much deeper, much more complex.
And a good place to start is actually with the geography itself, because even the name of the place, Tai Mei Tuk, holds this sort of hidden philosophical story.
Right, the name.
Mhm.
Today it's known as Tai Mei Tuk. Which means great, beautiful end. But that wasn't the original name, was it?
No, historically the characters were different,
Mm.
and that translates more like great end of the tale.
End of the tale versus beautiful end. Seems subtle, but you're saying it's significant.
Oh, deeply significant. It shows how traditional beliefs were just woven into the landscape. That original name, End of the Tale, was directly linked to Chinese Feng Shui, or geomancy.
Ah, the Feng Shui connection.
Yeah, the local villagers believed that specific spot was the literal endpoint, the eat of the energy line, the dragon pulse, the ooh-ooh coming down from the Eight Mortals mountain range.
So the end of the mountain's power, basically.
That was the belief. The energy stopped there. So the fact that the engineers decided to build the main dam right there at this natural tail, well, it created this kind of clash, didn't it? Modern engineering meeting ancient spiritual geography.
A collision right there in the landscape itself.
Definitely. And interestingly, that traditional spelling, great end of the tail, started to cause a bit of unease for the community later on in more modern times.
And ease. How so?
Well, some villagers felt it sounded a bit inauspicious, maybe suggesting the end of wealth or just the end of the line. Generally, not great vibes.
So they wanted to change it. But I imagine changing an official name, especially one tied to tradition, wasn't straightforward.
No, it became quite a public discussion, really. This move to the new character's Kerr, great beautiful end, was like a community effort to sort of improve their luck, maybe their image for a new era.
Sacrificing tradition for tourism or something deeper.
I think it was more about actively seeking better energy for the community's future. The fact that it officially changed in 2007 shows how local feelings could eventually shape even government administration. It was a negotiation.
Okay, so our first kind of hidden gem or point for reflection is right there at the end of the main dam.
Exactly. That spot is the original geographical lean.
So when you're standing there, you can look back at the ridge of the Eight Immortals Mountains and actually contemplate that idea, the Dragon Pulse ending right where the concrete begins, that tension between belief and engineering.
Hmm. Now let's shift gears a bit because the cost wasn't just philosophical. The human cost was immense. Building the reservoir meant relocating two very different kinds of communities. It demanded a huge sacrifice.
Let's start with the really tragic story. The 6 Hakka villages. These were farming communities, right? Yungpui, Yungmei, Wangling Tao.
Pomchuk Pai, Tai Cow, and Su Cow.
Okay.
Yes, traditional Hakka farming villages, their homes, their fields, their ancestral lands, all of it ended up completely underwater when the reservoir filled up. Gone forever.
How many people were affected?
Nearly 1,000 residents lost everything they knew.
And where did they go? What happened to them?
The solution imposed on them was pretty drastic. Urban relocation, they were moved completely out of their rural setting into modern high-rise buildings in Tai Po Market, specifically in Lukong Lane.
Wow. From farming villages to city blocks.
It wasn't just a change of address. It fundamentally cut them off from their land, their history, their whole way of life.
But their connection isn't totally severed, is it? There's this annual ritual they still perform.
Yes, and this is really quite moving. It offers a profound insight. Every year, for the Chungyang Festival, the Heavy Sun Festival, these relocated villagers make a pilgrimage back.
A pilgrimage. Back to where? The villages are underwater.
Back to visit their ancestral graves. See, the graves were located higher up on the hillsides surrounding the valley, so they weren't submerged by the water.
Ah, okay. But getting to them now must be incredibly difficult with the reservoir in the way.
Extremely difficult. For many years, the only help they got from the government was access to, get this, water sampling boats.
Oh, wait, the boats used to check the quality of the water that drowned their homes. That's what they had to use to visit their ancestors.
That's right. The irony is just staggering.
Yeah.
Whether it was intended that way or just bureaucratic oversight, the impact is profound.
And even after they got across the water.
Once they reached the shore near the hillsides, the sources say they often had to literally hack through trees and undergrowth just to clear a path up to the grave sites.
That journey sounds incredibly arduous.
It is, and performing it year after year. It's this powerful act of collective memory. It's like a symbolic refusal to be completely cut off, a way of pushing back against that physical isolation.
It really forces you to see the dam differently. For most of Hong Kong, it's life-giving water. But for those villagers...
For them, it's also a vast, beautiful tombstone marking where their homes used to be. A really difficult thing to reconcile.
Okay, so that's one story of displacement in memory. But there was another community affected, the Tanka people of Sam Mun Tsai, and their story went differently.
Very differently. It offers a powerful contrast in resilience. The Tanka were primarily fishermen, a very tight-knit community living on an island called Paksha Tao Chao, which was also slated for removal.
So they faced the same relocation order.
Yes, but their approach was collective. Instead of being dispersed, they negotiated to relocate together to a nearby coastal area, Yim Tin Sai. They established the Sam Mun Tsai New Village there in 1965.
Moving as a group was key.
Absolutely. It allowed them to transplant their community structure and, crucially, continue their traditional fishing livelihood in a suitable location. That collective strategy was the cornerstone of their survival as a community.
And did it work out long term?
Amazingly well. They started with about 36 households. Today, the village has grown to over 160. Their decision to stick together, to not splinter, really preserved their identity and way of life. It's a living example of resilience.
You can still feel that vibrancy today.
Oh, definitely. The Sam Mun Tsai New Village is buzzing with culture. You can see it during their big annual events like the Dawangye birthday celebrations, or during Lunar New Year with the lion and unicorn dances, the big basin feasts. It's fantastic.
So the culture itself is kind of the monument.
Precisely. And it's so strong, it pulls people back. There are stories, of villagers who emigrated overseas. I read about one man who'd lived in Scotland for 40 years.
40 years.
Yeah. And he still comes back for these festivals, not just for himself, but to actively connect his own children, born abroad, back to their roots, back to the community. The village itself endures as the memorial.
That's incredible. Is there anything else culturally that speaks to their experience?
There is. If we go a bit deeper than the festivals into their non-material culture, there's something unique called sighing songs, or tangay. These aren't just folk tunes.
Sighing songs. Tell me more. What are they exactly?
They're this really unique, often quite melancholic form of performing art, traditionally sung mainly by women, especially during significant life events like weddings and funerals.
And the sighing part.
The vocal style itself often incorporates sounds that mimic sighing. It's a way to express really deep, complex emotions, the hardships of living by the sea, the joys, the sorrows, the constant uncertainty that comes with depending on the tides and nature.
That makes a lot of sense. So if the reservoir represents this huge external change, the sighing songs are like the internal emotional landscape where the community processes it all. Loss, change, resilience.
Exactly. They hold the emotional history. So this points to another way you, as a visitor, can engage more deeply. Go beyond just looking at the pretty scenery.
Uh-huh.
Try to find maybe local cultural immersion workshops or perhaps oral history tours if they're offered. It's a chance to connect with the elders, to hear these stories directly, to access that private, profound emotional history that the songs carry. That kind of experience is so much richer than just a snapshot.
Okay, one last story. Shifting focus again this time to ecology and some unexpected historians. This involves cattle.
Yellow cattle, yes. Or, see, building the Plover Cove Reservoir had these big ripple effects ecologically, even beyond the area that was flooded.
How?
Well, to fill the reservoir quickly and keep it topped up, they had to divert huge amounts of stream water from the surrounding hills. This meant that many formerly irrigated farms in the nearby valleys started to dry up.
So farming became impossible in those areas too.
For many, yes. They were forced to abandon agriculture altogether, another massive change in livelihood.
And the cattle, what happened to them? The sources mention something quite touching.
Right. Instead of slaughtering their loyal yellow cattle, which were essential work animals, many farmers just couldn't bring themselves to do it. And they couldn't take them into urban life. So they simply released them into the hillsides, let them go free.
So the wild yellow cattle you sometimes see wandering around Tai Mei Tuk and the country parks today, they're descended from those farm animals.
Exactly. They aren't just random wildlife. They are, in a way, living fossils, walking, breathing monuments to the end of that local agricultural era. A direct, living link back to the engineering decisions made 60 years ago and the rural life that faded away because of the water.
That's a fantastic detail. These cows are history markers.
It's a great thing to keep in mind if you see them. And we'd suggest maybe combining that observation with a visit to the nearby Ma Shichao Geopark. It has that cool tomb below the natural land bridge.
Why there specifically?
Because you get this amazing intersection, the deep geological time of the rocks, the historical impact of the reservoir nearby, the ecological story of the cattle, and the human choices tying it all together. It's geology, history, ecology, all in one place.
Wow. When you put it all together, the Feng Shui and the name change, the submerged villages, the resilience of Sam Mun Tsai, the sighing songs, the cattle, Plover Cove is so much more than just a pretty spot.
The paradox is really striking, isn't it? The reservoir holds, 2 billion cubic meters of vital freshwater for Hong Kong, but it also holds all this collective memory, all the sacrifice from the 1960s. This landscape isn't just scenery, it's layered with narratives.
Narratives of choice, loss, adaptation.
Conservation and sheer persistence, yes.
So as people visit these areas, enjoy the cycling, the views, there's a need for some responsible awareness, right? Responsible tourism.
Absolutely. Tourist development brings convenience, infrastructure, but we need to be careful it doesn't inadvertently harm the cultural anchors that remain. You hear about issues like some of the old village houses falling into disrepair in Sam Mun Tsai, for example.
There's a balance to be struck.
And visitors play a role. Simply acknowledging that invisible sacrifice, understanding that the water-enabling city life came at a profound cost to these communities. That's an act of respect.
It changes how you see the place.
Definitely. And ultimately, whether you're reflecting on that difficult annual pilgrimage the 6 villages' descendants still make, battling the elements to honor their ancestors.
Or whether you're witnessing the vibrant celebrations in Sam Mun Tsai, that refusal to let go of tradition.
The real hidden gem, perhaps the deepest one, is seeing that fierce, universal human need for roots. That dedication to keeping memory alive against the odds.
That persistence is the story.
It really is. So every visit back to Tai Mei Tuk, to Sam Mun Tsai, can be seen as a quiet tribute, a nod to the complex history and the sacrifices that helped shape the Hong Kong we know today. That's definitely something powerful to carry with you when you stand there, looking out over the water.